Hi there everybody, Morgan with Event Answer here, and today is my 30th birthday, and I want to share this celebration with you. So often you see little kids parties that are cute or fun and really easy to put together, but as you get older, sometimes it can be harder to throw adult parties. So I wanted to share with you how I put together this Hello 30 that's kind of sophisticated, kind of fun, but super easy to put together. So follow along and I'll show you how I put together this Hello 30 party. I started off this project by building a mobile wall for all of my decorations, and I'm doing that with this 1-inch thick foam insulation board that you can find at your local home improvement store. It comes in 4x8 sheets, but I've cut mine down into 2x8 so it'll fit in the back of my car, and I'm going to be using 3 sections of that so I have a 6-foot wide by 8-foot tall wall to attach my decorations to. Now, if you have a large wall that's blank, you could absolutely tape these decorations directly to the wall and you'll get a similar look. To secure these 3 panels together, I'm using these U-shaped garden stakes, and that'll slide from the top and the bottom of each of these seams, and then I'll secure it with duct tape on one side, and this is going to give me a fairly rigid wall to build everything off of. I found this really cool vinyl-like material at my local craft store, and it's something that teachers usually use on their bulletin boards. I love this though because it's 4 feet wide, much wider than most papers I could get my hands on in this striped pattern. If you can't find this, you could also use wrapping paper and you would get a very similar look, but for my project today, I'm going to be using this cool roll. Now on this roll, I've got 12 feet, so just enough to pull off this, so I'm trying to make sure I've got accurate measurements right up to the very edge of this. I'm going to line it up flush and then tape everything down with a little bit of clear packaging tape. I'm just making sure I'm pulling everything nice and flat and straight. Because it's stripes, it's going to be very easy to tell if the pattern is crooked. So I'm just trying to make sure everything is lined up with the top edge. And then I'm going to come along with my X-Acto blade and cut it flush with the straight edge of the foam board. I then secured all the edges down using a little bit more of that packaging tape, and I tried to put the tape only on the white spots because I felt like it hid the tape a little bit better than the black did. And just make sure you smooth out all of the rumples and the bumps from it because you do kind of see that with the striped pattern. And then in barn raising style, I lifted up the wall and rotated it around so that the pink side was against my backdrop stand, and I just snugged it up right against those vertical poles and then attached it with a little bit of duct tape so that the foam was secured to those poles. Next I started inflating all the balloons, and this is my Hello foil balloon, and I'm using my hand pump to do this, although it did come with a straw in the kit. I'm just very slowly going to pump that up and make sure that I'm unraveling it as I add air, just so it doesn't get caught as it inflates. Now, balloons like this don't have enough capacity to float if you put helium in them, so always make sure you inflate these with air because they're not going to float if you try and fill them with helium. For my balloon garland, I'm using these metallic balloons from A Favor Mart, and they're in burgundy, black, and gold, which I really love this color combination. And I'm going to start building quads for this balloon garland. So most of these I use 2 burgundy and then 1 gold and 1 black, just because I like the burgundy the most. But just pick up 4 of these in any color, and I want to make sure that I'm mixing up the sizes of those balloons. I'm going to tie 2 of those into pairs and then twist them together to make a quad. And then I'm just going to repeat this until I ran out of balloons, which was about 50 in total. And so once I've got all those quads together, I'm going to go ahead and attach them using some fishing line. Now I saw this really cool hack where you make a loop with your fishing line just like you would by wrapping it around your fingers and pushing a loop through that. And then you're going to put that loop over a door handle. And this is going to give you something to pull against as you build your balloon garland. I've tried to do this on the floor and it's so squirrely trying to keep all these balloons together and not get caught up in the fishing line, so the doorknob is a great trick here. And what you're going to do is just wrap the fishing line a couple times around a balloon or two in each quad, and then add your next quad to the fishing line, wrapping it a couple times, and then going back to the previous quad, wrapping it a little bit, and then moving forward. And this is going to secure all the balloons to the fishing line. And here you can see the mix of colors and sizes. I did not use a balloon sizer on this project, mainly because it's very free form and I wanted various sizes, and on mine they range from about 5 inches to 9 inches. My giant 3 and 0 balloons have these tabs at the top of them, and I'm going to be using a little bit of fishing line tied to these tabs, and that's how I'll attach it to the backdrop. These balloons are so big I can't just tape them to the backdrop, so I'm going to use a little bit of this fishing line, which you won't be able to see when these are hanging, and I'll tape the fishing line to the backdrop. To hang the Hello balloon, I'm using these glue dots attached to their little tabs. So this one has 3 to 4 tabs on it. I'm just going to put that glue dot on the back of that tab and then press it against the backdrop. This balloon's small enough and can sit close enough to the backdrop that this is going to work really well. And it doesn't weigh much, so 3 or 4 glue dots is enough to hold this balloon in place. I'm also going to add a glue dot to the nozzle that I used to inflate this balloon and just attach it to the backside so you can't see it. And now it's finally time for the giant balloons. So I've got the 3 balloon here first, and I have the fishing line in my hand, and I just strung it up behind the Hello balloon. And I'm going to try and level out the number 3 and tape that fishing line at the very top of the display, because that's going to be hidden by other balloons in a moment. And then I'm just going to make sure those are level. This would go a lot easier if you had someone who could spot you to help hang these. I definitely had to get up and down off the ladder a couple times just to make sure they were hanging level and straight. And the final step is to hang the balloon garland. So I'm just using a little bit more of that packaging tape and attaching it to the fishing line along the balloon garland, and taping a couple of the balloons directly to the backdrop just to achieve that curve that I'm looking for. And then I'm going to fiddle with the balloons until they're in the nice color order that I want, and we're done! I hope you found today's project inspirational, and if you enjoyed it, hit that subscribe button so you can see future party setups just like this coming up in the future. I've got other videos that you can check out in the meantime. I do party setups, event planning tips, as well as balloon tutorials. So check into some of those, and until I see you the next time, stay creative!